Okay, I'm going to try and read a poem out that I haven't read before. It's about Eminem, and I've been listening to Eminem with my son Oscar, and I started listening for the first time in years, really, to that song Stan, and thinking how good it was. So I wrote this. It's called "Thank You for Stan." When Eminem sang a song called Stan, he imagined a world where a crazy fan was outraged by the star, not recognizing how much he cared, too busy to reply, uninterested in acknowledging that it was the fans that helped make stars who they were, how they are, and what they became. It's a lurid fantasy that is brilliantly realized, deftly written, and delivered at the first peak of his fame. It rides along on another song, making stars of both Eminem and Dido. I'm sure she wanted to thank him for giving her the best hit of her career. I was only an Eminem fan for a matter of minutes in the scheme of things. The cartoonery meant it could never stick for me. It was clever, but not very musical. It was tactical, but not very tactful. Impactful, but not really as radical as the hardcore might tell you. And besides, he just yelled at you, words sticking sharp like they were caught in his throat, and the violence and misogyny was mostly boring to me in my white privilege. There are moments, and Stan is one. It's held up well because the writing is there. It's on full display. It's still crushing to this day, still real. You still feel every word that he spits. It sits heavy in my mind. It wears heavy on your heart and your soul. There's control in the way that he phrases and places the words, and the choices are smart, and there's art. There is art. There is art in the way he chooses what to say. That's the thing with it. That's why it is one of his best. And 20 years on, it's like hearing a classic rock song, which is wrong on so many levels, and not what he planned when he wrote that song, Stan. But also, the kids of the people that probably wrote the song off as rude and silly and shouty and nasty have grown up to call themselves Stans when they're obsessed as great fans of the untouchable and unreachable. They stalk Twitter and yell at thin air. They care on a level that just isn't real. They feel outrage at the thought that someone could care less than them. But as with the worst of any fan, their crime is that they're not really listening at all, which is the first line in the job description. The word irony of all. The worst irony of all is to give yourself the name of the cautionary tale as a way of suggesting you're above and beyond. But these are irony-free days, so the stands have their say and play it their way, and we're all just a meme away from being cancelled. Eminem is worth millions, and some people think that's the real crime here. When he wrote Stan, he did more to help the world than most of us could ever know or will ever do. I listened to it for the first time in an age just the other day. I didn't hear much of his rage, just compassion and craft and care. Imagine the drafts and the world that went into it. Imagine the readbacks and the rough notes and the decisions. Imagine reading tweets where people call themselves stans. Imagine still thinking rap is crap and feeling okay about saying that, like it was an opinion that mattered or meant anything at all, like parasitic fandom could ever mean anything.